I'm Kianga Janaki, and I am a fiber artist. I create dolls and quilts and mixed media pieces using a lot of traditional and contemporary African textiles. I also love handmade paper. I like fibers. I like working with fibers. Quilting and hand sewing and crochet and all of those kinds of things, those are the folk arts. I was doing collage work as a child. I was cutting up paper and putting things together and telling stories that way. There's a dance, right? There's a conversation, you know? There's a conversation going on right there. When my daughter was like 5 years old, she asked me to make a doll that looked like her. When I created that doll for her, I used African textiles for the clothing, and then, you know, getting the yarns for the hair. My daughter's humble request set me off into the world of fiber art. When my youngest was about 6 or 7, Faith Ringgold was in town. Like, she was down in Fort Lauderdale. And Faith Ringgold is like the grand dame, the godmother, the Iyalode, the queen mother of story quilts. So Elijah and I drove down, you know, I told him, I said, baby, you're not going to school today. Seeing that she could use that medium to tell stories ignited the desire in me to use quilting to tell stories as well. To still be able to use cloth and tell a story even deeper than what I could tell with a doll. I was always self-conscious about my quilts because my squares weren't perfect. My corners didn't line up. Elijah's kindergarten teacher, I was talking to her about it, and she actually had a book called Who Would Have Thought? And it was a collection of quilts made by old black men and old black women. And it was like the lines didn't line up. Most of their pieces were just strips of fabric that they'd sewn together. I realized that I needed to free myself because it wasn't about whether or not this corner lined up with that corner. It was about the fact that I was telling you a story. And the story needed what I was expressing, how I was expressing it. Because when I looked at the quilts of those elders, that's how I felt. I saw the beauty of what they were doing, and that's what stayed with me, and that's what I connected to, you know, with my work. So it freed me, you know, it really freed me. We're helping our history to be honored, and us to be honored. When we are able to tell our own stories, our voices are in the world. Artists like myself and showing their work all over the world and telling the same kinds of stories, but they're doing it with a quilt. Their brush, so to speak, is a sewing machine or a needle and a thread. Until recently, you know, those art forms didn't have the same respect as, say, a painting. I put the same amount of love and attention and focus into my work as someone who's painting or someone who's drawing, you know? I don't see, because of the materials that I'm choosing, because I'm not using oil paints and I'm using textiles, that my work is any less valuable because of that. All the years that I've worked as an artist, introducing people to quilting, introducing children to quilting, and doll making, has laid the path for that, for the world to see it as not just something your grandma did. And I'm supposed to tell the stories of my people, the happy stories, the sad stories, the stories that help me to remember my childhood, the stories that honor my ancestors. The cloth that I love, the cloth that has always been a part of my life, is how I'm supposed to tell those stories. I just feel like I'm doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing.